This is Rod, live within your means. I came across a clip the other day and I thought this was worth showing a few things. Now, this is Piers Morgan. A lot of people know who he is. Apparently, he hosts a program in Britain called Good Morning Britain, and he's asking, can anyone beat Trump? What can we do to beat him? And he's asking in frustration because he's not a Trump supporter and he doesn't really appreciate the fact that Donald Trump has been doing the things for the American people that he said he would be doing. And so he's asking questions of a couple different people. One here is a man named Richard Schiff. Now, Richard Schiff may be familiar to a lot of people because he apparently is an actor who was on a program called West Wing. And he's asking both him and this other gentleman here, whose name is Frank Lutz, and Frank Lutz is a political consultant. He's actually a political consultant for Republicans, and he gives a wonderful answer. But we're going to jump over here and hear the response, which I thought was a very sad response by this actor, Richard Schiff. I'm just going to play just a little bit of this so you can hear what he says needs to be done, how we can get Trump.
Controlling the judges and trying to fend off oversight.
He says controlling the judges. And he was also, saying that, what he's doing to the DOJ. Yeah, what Donald Trump is trying to do is replace corrupt judges with judges who will follow the Constitution. And he's trying to clean up the Department of Justice. Let's hear a little bit more here.
And the way to get them is through tax evasion, like we can get any.
The way we can get him, he says, is through tax evasion, like we can get any candidate. Now, this is a very sad response. The U.S. tax code is enormous. Both accountants and tax preparers that help people, primarily businessmen, they can interpret those different ways, as can all the many people that work for the IRS. And there's no doubt that the tax code can be interpreted differently by different people. They could get anyone, and that's what he's saying here. That's the way we get him, because we could get any candidate with the using the tax code, with their tax returns. Now, I'm going to let you hear a little bit of Piers Morgan here, because so you can hear what he's saying, what he's asking back at the beginning of this, and let's hear what Frank Lutz has to say, the response that he gives.
Throughout your career, you've advised people about messaging. Whether you love Trump or hate him, and there is no middle ground, right? You love him or you hate him. He is a brilliantly effective communicator and messenger, I would argue. He's a salesman. A lot of it, he might be selling a lot of snake oil, but people are taking it in. I watched him last night. He looked very confident. He's hammering those messages, the economy. It's not as good as he says it is. It's not all-time great, but it's certainly pretty solid. Certainly good enough to win an election. If you're a Democrat right now, how do you stop the Trump monster from getting re-elected?
That's a great question, because the unemployment numbers are actually very significant. The growth rate at over 3%. You now have 70% of Americans who think the economy is going to be even better next year. The last time a candidate lost with an economy this good is never.
What a great response, and how true. So what this political consultant is saying is how significant the economy is. And he's saying the unemployment numbers are great, that we've got over 3% growth rate in the economy. And the last time a candidate lost, and he's referring to a candidate who is incumbent, who is in office. The last time one of them lost, he says, is never. And basically slaps Piers Morgan with some truth here that many of us that follow what's happening in the political arena and who have actually, some of us that have taught basic politics recognize that this is true. Donald Trump is likely to be there for a second term unless something catastrophic happens and there's a great change to the economy. Anyway, this is Rod, Live Within Your Means. Want to encourage you all to continue to live within your means. And I believe that is the key to being honest in business. And it's what we need in political candidates. We need those that will live within their means. And most importantly, when they're using our money, we want them to live within the means that we provide. We don't want them to continue to be spineless and spending money that we don't have, because that is what can lead to the destruction of our country, as it has many others. Anyway, this is Rod, Live Within Your Means. Have a wonderful day.